Welcome to my channel. These are 3 true horror stories from when people had a night shift job delivering pizzas. The first one is called The Staring Woman. I was working alone at a pizza place. It was really late, and I was just about to clock out when the phone rang. It was a woman who sounded pretty old. She wanted a small pepperoni pizza, and I needed to make a delivery run. So even though I really wanted to tell her to just come pick it up, my boss made me do the delivery. When I got there, it was pitch black. The house was small and dark, with only a single light on inside. I knocked on the door and waited, but no one answered. I was about to knock again when I looked through the window and saw an old woman staring directly at me. I yelled, "Hey, I have your pizza." But she didn't move or say anything. Then she gave me the creepiest smile I've ever seen, and that S when I started backing away. That's when I noticed that she had a pizza cutter in her hand. I turned and ran to my car. As I was getting into my car, I looked back at the house and saw the woman now standing outside looking at me from the front window. And then she smiled again. I quickly got in my car and locked the doors. I looked in the passenger side window and she was still there, smiling. She was standing right outside my window, inches away from me. I slammed on the gas and raced out of there. My boss never made me do a late night delivery again. The second story is called The Cottage in the Woods. I was in high school and I was making pizza deliveries. It was my last delivery of the night, and I was dropping off a pizza at this really creepy cottage in the woods. The roads were dark and windy, and the houses were far apart. I remember thinking how nice it would be if someone robbed me so I could get out of there. I finally got to the house and it was just as creepy up close as it was from a distance. There was no doorbell, so I knocked loudly, and this low, harsh voice from inside the house said, "Out back." So I went around the house and saw this person sitting at a table on the patio. I called out, "Hey." And that's when this guy sitting on the patio turned around and gave me a big smile. It was like this crazy, manicured smile that just stared at me. That's when this other guy poked his head from around the corner of the house and yelled, "Come here, man." I dropped the pizza and turned to run. But this guy came out from around the corner and ran towards me with a big smile on his face. I turned and ran back to my car as fast as I could. When I got back to the car, I called the cops and they said that no one had lived in that house for a long time. And the last story is called The Unseen Passenger. I was doing a late night delivery out in the rural part of the Poconos. It was freezing cold and there was hardly anyone on the road. I was driving down this winding road and I hit a guy who was wearing a black hoodie. He just jumped out from between some bushes on the side of the road. I stopped and got out to check on him. I thought he might be dead, so I started yelling at him to get out of the road. That's when I heard this blood-curdling scream in the woods. I instantly regretted going into the woods to try and find the source of the scream, but I figured that whatever was out there probably wasn't human. But when I got closer, I couldn't hear anything. I turned to leave, and that's when I heard footsteps behind me. I turned back, but I couldn't see anything in the darkness. I started running and didn't stop until I got back to my car. I continued the delivery, and everything seemed fine. When I knocked on the door, this middle-aged woman answered. And before I could even say anything, she asked, "Are you here with my husband?" I was confused because I was clearly alone. I told her that I was, but she insisted that I had a delivery partner. I turned around to look and there was someone sitting in the back seat of my car. I screamed and ran to get the cops. But when they arrived, the person was gone. The scariest part was that they found a blood-stained knife on the floor where the person was sitting.